Hey guys, Common Sense Outdoorsman here. I want to show you this knife, and this isn't a knife that I use a lot, and there's a reason for that. And it's a Puma knife. This is the Puma Bowie knife, and it's the technically called the Puma Original Bowie. Okay, this is made in Germany. And while it's getting dark by the second, and it looks like we're in for some more rain here in Colorado, but hopefully the view is okay for you. Guys, excuse my misspeaks and flubs. I do not script my videos, and I just kind of go through them on the fly. I think they just come out better that way. So not a lot of editing here, but so there it is. It's the Puma Original Bowie, and that's a date stamp there. '07 RC. That means this knife was born in 2007. Okay, and I picked this knife up. I think it was probably maybe somewhere around 2012, 2013. I got it on eBay. It was not used when I got it. It was still new in the box, and I have not used it a lot, and I actually do not plan to use it a lot. Um, I do use it though, and I will continue to use it now. Is this the knife that I'm gonna beat the snot out of batoning, doing extreme stuff with, striking fire steels and stabbing into things and all that kind of stuff? No, probably not. And there's a few different reasons to it. But let me tell you a little bit more about this knife. And I think a good comparison, especially in size for this knife, would be the Buck 119. You guys all know that knife. The Buck 119, this blade on this knife is it's very close to 6.5 inches long. The Buck 119's blade is 6 inches long, but the Buck 119 handle is longer than this one and much more comfortable. And that's another point I want to talk about. So this knife, this Puma knife in 2007, they used 440C steel, and they use a lot of different steels now. Some that are similar to 440C, different designations. Some are not, okay? But this one is 440C. Guys, 440 steel has been around for a long, long time. I think it was developed, was it in the 20s, not the 1920s? I believe it was. 440A came first, and then just a few short years later, they came out with the 440C derivative. This 440C has been used by a lot of custom knife makers over the years. It's a very good steel, heat treated properly. It's very good. I think it got a bad rap because a lot of cheap makers, a lot of maybe Chinese knives from back in the day, they used 440C because it was inexpensive, it was available, and they would do a quick heat treat on it. I've seen them, I've had some of them, and yes, just like other steels and just like D2 steel, not heat treated properly, it can be a disappointing steel. But I'm just telling you, this is not the first Puma knife I've ever owned. I have several. I have several good knives with 440C steel, and done right, it is a very, very good steel. And this German company, this is their own 440C steel back in the day, and it is very, very good. So no complaints about this steel. Now, when I got this knife, now these are handmade. These knives are put together by hand. Excuse me, put together by hand. They are ground and sharpened by hand. And was this knife perfect when I got it? No, it was not. the grind angle, okay, on both, on the different sides, is not even, slightly off. The grind angle on the swedge, and there's a good, see, you can see those grind marks going vertical, kind of vertical off to one side. You can see those grind marks on this side of the swedge, but you don't see any on this side of the swedge. And the swedge also is not evenly ground on both sides. The tip was not perfectly even, and the relief edge, or the final cutting bevel on this blade, it was a V grind, was not done perfectly. And I've had to re-sharpen the edge, so to speak. I'm probably about 90% to where I want it. And I fixed the tip and took care of that. And it's a strong tip, by the way, so no problem there. So one of the things, guys, if you're going to get into knives and you're going to own knives, you have got to learn to sharpen knives and to repair grinds, because even expensive knives are not going to come perfect. So I have some other videos on knife sharpening and what some knife grind and edge problems are, how to identify them, how to correct them simply, inexpensively, and with very inexpensive tools. And I will apologize for some of those videos, as they are long-winded, but that's just me, my mistake. Again, not rehearsed or scripted or anything. I'm just talking off the top of my head. But it will help you if you want to learn how to sharpen knives an easy way, how to identify the problems with knife edges and how to get the edge you want. Look at some of my knife sharpening videos. Anyways, this knife, handmade, the guard, I think, I can't remember, I should have checked that again. I think the guard is aluminum, and it's pounded onto the knife tang, and then they put, these are real Stag handles, they're beautiful, and then they put the Stag handles on to hold that, to further hold that guard on there. And they put those beautiful pins in there, brass pins. It's got that hole through. It's a brass lined lanyard hole if you want to use it for a lanyard hole. The Stag is beautiful. Now, I'm also going to say that the finish between the tang and the Stag, you can feel an edge, okay? Not perfect. But that, to me, sometimes these flaws actually add to the knife. So these Puma knives, and I believe they're probably still made by hand, but for this 2007, they're all different, which is another thing that's special, because they're all made by hand. The Stag handles are all going to be different because it's real Stag, and so you're going to have a different look and a different feel on each knife. Which brings me to one of my biggest points, is why I don't use this knife a lot. This is not the most comfortable knife handle in the world, okay? It is actually thicker, okay, than it is deep this way, which is not comfortable at all in my hand. Not very comfortable, put it that way. And I'm going to lower this, bring this down. And the wind is picking up, and it is going to rain fairly soon. So it's just not the most comfortable knife in the world. Would I carry this knife? Would I use this knife? Yes, and I have. But if I had to choose a knife for a trip or a serious situation and to work with a lot, no, I'm not taking this knife, because it's just not that kind of knife. What was it meant for originally? I think probably a large hunting blade. And sure, you're going to clean a big game, sure, this knife would do it. And it's actually more comfortable in the pinch grip than it is in the hammer grip. So if you were cleaning game and using the pinch grip, that is very comfortable for the shape of the handle. So yeah, primarily a hunting knife. Could you use it for, personal protection and do just a general field knife and some camp work and some food prep, yes, you can. Okay, no problems there. Um, so this knife is special to me. I'm not gonna ever get rid of this one. This will go to my son and grandkids eventually. The cost of I got really lucky when I got this one in about 2012, 2013. I paid very close to $100 for this knife. Good luck trying to find one of these for $100 today. I mean, I've seen them 250 on up in different conditions, new, used, whatever. So expensive now. So I'm glad I got it when I did. Um, what else can I say about this knife? Well, let's look at the sheath. Love the sheath, leather sheath. Don't remember if this is actually made in Germany or not. This is the original sheath for this knife. That's the leg tie, and it does have another handle tie if you want to use that. Just pull it out here and you can tighten that around the handle if you'd like. Okay. Great snap. Nice tight snap. Works great. The knife really sits in there very nice and snug. And when you snap it, you're not gonna, a little loose in there, but that's not a problem. It's a leather sheath. Very thick leather. Very good leather. Rides well. You know, it'll look like this on the belt. Rides very nice on the belt, not too high. Okay, so very happy with the sheath. Very good quality. A nice match up here. This is this is a very good piece. Glad I have it. Okay, so I've used this knife slightly. I'm going to toss the sheath over there. Let's go over here, and I'm just going to do a few things. I'm not going to really put it through, I'm not going to put it through a beating. I'm not even going to baton it or anything like that. But so, like I said, I had to work on the edge. I did. It is very sharp. The 440C steel is easy to sharpen on this knife. You can make curls, even though I've got a little bit more work I want to do on this edge. Very, it's very sharp now, and the 440C is very smooth, very good. This German steel will hold its edge for a decent amount of time. I have absolutely no complaints about this Puma 440C steel. Very nice. No problems at all. Okay. Just wish it was more comfortable. Even that, even the guard, see how it's up against my forefinger there? It's just a little uncomfortable. I could squeeze it down the bottom, but even the guard is can be a little bit uncomfortable. Can you choke up? See, you've got the space there after the guard. I don't have fat fingers. I can a little bit. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, when I say I would, I mean I do, but I would not recommend that to anyone because your finger is close to that sharp edge, but it is a little bit easier to work with when I put my forefinger on the other side of that guard. Okay, so yes, it's sharp, no problems. Using it, very nice curls. This is a piece of aspen, so it'll do work for you. It's a usable knife. Like I said, it's just not a first choice of a knife to use for me, but I do like it. I do like the nostalgia of it. I do like the look of it. I do love the Stag handles. the fact that it was put together by hand, ground by hand, that kind of thing. So I would do, if this is the knife I had and I did have to do hard tasks with it, a little batoning and get a little rough with it, I would have no hesitation in doing that, okay? It is a good, worthy knife to use. Not a problem at all. Just gonna do something to this tree. This is not, and guys, this is not a lesson in how to use a knife. I'm just showing you how it cuts and that it does have some good properties to it. Okay, so no problem there, just kind of skinning this tree. And this is an old, almost petrified aspen. Okay, you wanted to use it a little bit harder, you can. And the tang, by the way, it's a strong tang because this guard is hammered on there. This is not, the tang when it goes through, it's not really cut back much. As you can see, the tang goes all the way around the knife, so it's not cut very small here, so it's got good strength. That's not a problem. It's not going to break easily, okay? I'm just putting some wear on this edge. Certainly not the best use for this knife, but there's going to be no problem with this steel. I've never had a problem with any Puma 440C steel at all, and I've got a few different knives with the 440C. Little tip work, you know, I'm not going to try to break my tip off. As you could guess, I certainly don't want to do that with this knife, but if you had to do some tip work with this 440C, not a problem. Within reason, you will have no problem with this tip. Certainly strong enough for normal use, okay? Again, this isn't meant to be a survival knife or anything like that, but certainly strong enough you can use the tip with little to no worry, okay? All right, guys, I don't want to make this video too long, so thanks for bearing with me. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and making comments. So I really interested in your comments, what you think about my videos, what you think about this knife. So don't hesitate to drop a comment for me. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Common Sense Outdoorsman. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.